They liked the balance that they had in race.
Casey Kane, we congratulate him, his third career pole.
It's all three Hendrick Motorsports in the front.
There's a few movers and shakers out there.
To victory lane is Joey Logano.
Get the inside line on who's fast and who's last before setting your NASCAR fantasy race team this weekend. This is the Inside Line on MRN.com, presented by Hercules Tires. Now, here are your fantasy experts, Robbie Mays and Tyler Burnett.
It's Fantasy Friday on MRN.com as we welcome you into the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show. He's Robbie Mays. I'm Tyler Burnett, and we're here to talk fantasy racing as we do each and every Friday. Robbie Mays, we're recapping what happened at Bristol, a wild race that saw Kyle Busch.
A lot of things happened at Bristol over the weekend. Kyle Busch won, and that's it. Congratulations, though. Second time. Sweeping all three races at Bristol Motor Speedway. He has 20 wins in the 3 series at Bristol. There are some drivers who don't have 20 wins combined in any of the series, and he's got 20 at one racetrack. One of the best ever.
He's pretty all right, ain't he?
I'd say so.
20 wins away from 200, right, in NASCAR. He has 180.
Yeah.
And 200, of course, Richard Petty has 200. They were all Cup wins, but back then, they ran like 3 a day or something?
Yeah, well, he's 2 away from tying Skinner for the Hornaday for all time in the Truck Series. He's 9 away from his supposed retirement from the Xfinity Series when he hits 100, which is going to happen. And he's 17th all time on the wins list in the Cup Series now.
Talking about fantasy points, a big weekend for MRN.
Yes.
Really
almost
big.
like we knew what we were doing for once.
We have 3,416 players in our league, which is number 1 in NASCAR Fantasy Live.
Correct.
So congrats to everyone who's in our league, and thank you for that. I have to brag about myself first. I finished 4th out of 3,416. Yes, thank you.
No, don't applaud. No.
Richard Colbreth, who is now 97th in the world, is in our league. Yeah, that takes a big applause. He is sick. He finished 6th last week, so I did beat him again. And Robbie Mays put up a big number, and he has been struggling for most of the year. So he finished 8th. Robbie Mays finished 8th. So we had 3 of the MRN fantasy players in the top 10.
I should have won. Because early in the day...
Oh, I should have won. Let's take a break. I don't want to
Early in the day, I had both Kyle Busch and Toyota as my manufacturer, and this guy guilt-tripped me into changing that.
Well, because you started
And if I hadn't changed that, I would have won our league.
You started out picking Joey Logano, and then who'd you pick on the show? You picked someone else, and then you picked someone else before the race, and then you're like, oh, let's pick this guy. Yeah, so you picked... I stayed with Danny Hamlin the whole time. He finished in the top 5. I was close, but Kyle Busch won the race. All right, coming up on the show today, we're going to play Sideswipe. It's going to be a little different this week, though. We are going to use will they make the playoffs or will they not make the playoffs on the guys who are on the bubble. So we'll talk about that. We'll also preview a Darlington a little bit. Throwback week coming up, presented by STP. That's going to be coming up next week. And then also we will play Under the Rock. And I've been told they have ratcheted up the intensity this week on Under the Rock because they're tired of me winning.
Also, the emoji game is back this week.
The emoji game.
Because, it didn't fail so bad last week, so we're going to do it again.
All right, that's all coming your way on the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires.
I'm Steve Letarte, STP auto expert and former crew chief. I know what it takes to keep engines performing at their best. STP's latest breakthrough additive, STP Ultra 5-in-1 plus Fuel System Cleaner plus Fuel Stabilizer, delivers 3 times the amount of cleaning agents versus premium gasoline and helps keep fuel fresh during storage. For over 60 years, STP has been on the cutting edge developing products to help engines run better, longer.
One bottle contains 3 times by weight the amount of cleaning agents compared to 20 gallons of the leading premium gasoline.
Has the summer heat taken a toll on your vehicle's battery? Count on O'Reilly Auto Parts for the Superstart battery that's right for your vehicle. For a limited time, purchase a Superstart Premium, Extreme, or Platinum battery and get up to a $15 O'Reilly gift card by mail. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limit supply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Being there matters.
and your United States Navy protects and defends America on the world's oceans. Around the globe, around the clock, Navy ships, submarines, aircraft, and, most importantly, tens of thousands of America's finest young men and women are ready to defend America when piracy threatens global commerce, when disaster strikes, or when called upon by the Commander-in-Chief. Your Navy is there. When it comes to protecting and defending America, being there matters. And America's Navy is already there.
Yay or nay, go or stay. It's time for the inside line to sideswipe the competition. Here's Robbie and Tyler.
I mentioned Throwback Week is coming up next week at Darlington, presented by STP. You can help keep stored fuel fresh with STP Ultra 5-in-1 Plus Fuel System Cleaner and Fuel Stabilizer. It's going to be a big week next week. Robbie Mays, what's your favorite paint scheme so far heading to Darlington?
Wow, there are a lot of really awesome paint schemes. Obviously, I think Austin Dillon's number 3 Wrangler throwback car for Dale Earnhardt is pretty cool. Ryan Reed just announced earlier this week he's running Alan Kawicki Z-Rex number 7 car that Alan won his first race at Phoenix with back in 1988. So I like those two. Obviously, there's still some we haven't seen yet. I think we're going to be in for a treat when we all get to South Carolina next week.
I think one that's been done before that I like the most is the Midnight car.
Yeah, the Rusty Wallace car.
Rusty Wallace 2 car. We'll have Rusty Wallace on the broadcast this next weekend, so that'll be cool to get his perspective on Brad Keselowski's 2 car. He says it's his favorite car. All right, let's play Sideswipe. As I mentioned in the first segment, we're going to play it with bubble drivers who potentially or potentially not going to make the playoffs this year. Daryl, Robbie Mays can go first because he finished behind all of us in fantasy points last week. So he can pick his first driver.
Okay, what's first?
All right, our first driver is Matt Kenseth.
Matt Kenseth. Right now, he sits 8th overall in points. He's the second driver to the good as far as points go to get him into the playoffs. Right now, this is one of the best teams in the garage. He struggled for much of the year, still doesn't have a win, but he's pretty good right now. He's got points on his side, so that's the good part. And here's the deal. With 2 races left in the regular season, that's still 2 more opportunities for a driver who hasn't won yet to win a race. But you look at the drivers who are good at Darlington, you look at the drivers who are good at Richmond. I don't see us getting 2 more winners. I could see possibly getting 1 more winner, but I don't see 2. So I think Matt Kenseth is good. I'm going to swipe right and say he gets in the playoffs.
I think he's good as well. He finished 6th in Darlington last year. He's good at Richmond. I agree with you. I think Matt Kenseth is in as well. All right, who's mine?
Jamie McMurray.
Jamie Mack. He is, 3 positions away from the bubble. So Chase Elliott, Matt Kenseth, and Jamie McMurray. You mentioned, I think we don't see any new winners. I think Kyle Busch wins one of the next 2 races. I think he probably wins at Richmond. I think potentially Truex defends his Southern 500 win next week. So I'm going to say that I think Jamie McMurray gets in as well. So I'm going to swipe right. I think Jamie Mack has been running solidly. I think he gets into the playoffs, with the final spot in the chase.
Okay.
Playoffs, sorry. Final spot.
That's $1. All
right, a little jar right here.
What's next?
Clint Boyer.
Clint Boyer. Okay, so Clint Boyer is one of these drivers that the next 2 racetracks, he's won at Richmond. He's been okay at Darlington over the years. And right now he's one of these guys that if you're out, you need a win, basically. You can't rely on points at this point. Clint's been good this year. He's been good for me on my team at times this year. He's lost me points on my team at times this year. I just don't think that Clint Boyer is going to be able to make up the points. Right now he's out of the playoffs, so I'm going to swipe left and say no, Clint Boyer does not make the playoffs.
How far is he out? 20 points?
No,
251 to 309, so that's 58 points.
58 points.
He's behind Jamie Mack.
Yes.
That's over a race. We only have 2 races left, so think about it that way. Well,
at this point, 58 points, you have to get max points. You have to win the race and get 10 points or win all 3 stages, basically, at this point, to get in on points.
All right, who's our next one?
Eric Jones.
I was hoping for this one because out of the guys who I see here at the bottom, so Clint Boyer, Eric Jones, Joey Logano, Daniel Suarez, I think Eric Jones has the best chance to win a race out of any of those guys down there, and that's just by the pure speed they have. I mean, I thought he potentially could have won the race last week at Bristol. I thought he was great at Michigan. If you had to pin me down and say who out of those guys at the bottom, Chase Elliott, Matt Kenseth, Jamie Mack, Joey Logano, Eric Jones, Daniel Suarez, who is going to win a race, I think Eric Jones would do it. But I don't think he does, because I think Truex and Kyle Busch win the next 2 races, or someone else. I'm going to swipe no on Eric Jones. I apologize. I really hope he does win a race, and I think it'd be cool, because I think he would have a chance to win the championship with how fast they are right now, and I think he can move on in rounds, but I don't think Eric Jones makes it.
I think Bristol was his best opportunity to win a race. I agree with you as well. I don't think he makes it. So I'll swipe no on him.
All right, Robbie Mays.
Chase Elliott.
Chase Elliott. This one is very simple right now. Chase Elliott, they have picked up their game the last couple of months. They are securely in on points right now, 61 to the good. This one's easy for me. If Chase just goes to Darlington and goes to Richmond and do what they have done all season long, he will make the playoffs. So I swipe right on Chase Elliott.
That's an easy one. I think he's in as well. All right, final one.
Daniel Suarez.
He's interesting because I think right now they're running better than they have all year. I think if they would have run the way they are now, they could have been in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm going to say no on Daniel Suarez just because of the fact of the things we've already mentioned. I don't think he wins a race here in the next 2 weeks. I think it would be awesome, but I don't think he makes it into the playoffs.
I would agree. I don't think that team is where they need to be right now to win. Although the 19 car did win the Bojangles Southern 500 2 years ago with Carl Edwards behind the wheel. I don't see Suarez winning. You know who was not part of that?
Who?
Joey Logano.
Yeah, that's a little bit interesting. I don't think he makes it either.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that after the break.
All right, this is the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires.
Citywide to countryside, whatever you drive, wherever you go. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading warranty to get you there, no matter where the road takes you. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com. Hercules Tires, ride on our strength.
It's almost the most refreshing time of the day, Busch O'Clock, a time for relaxing and unwinding with friends and family over a crisp, cold Busch beer. Busch's roots are in racing, but whether you're enjoying the race or going fishing, nothing is better when it's time to relax with a crisp, cold Busch. It's Busch O'Clock, so grab a 6-pack of Busch beer for the cooler, start the grill, and relax. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Busch Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Motor Racing Network has always been your source for motorsports coverage when you couldn't be at the track. Now, never miss another minute of our breathtaking coverage with the MRN app, available on your iPhone or Android device. This free app delivers all the latest news, locates nearby MRN stations, streams your favorite programs, and is your home for live cup practice and qualifying action. Search MRN in the App Store or on Google Play. It's the Motor Racing Network at your fingertips, and it's available for free right now.
Let's talk more fantasy racing on the Inside Line. Once again, here's Frick and Frack.
As Frick mentioned, is that you, Frick?
I don't know.
Or you, Frack? Anyways, as Robbie mentioned, Joey Logano was not in our conversation. Joey Logano has a win this year at Richmond, the first Richmond, because we're getting ready to go to the second Richmond, but it essentially did not count.
It's cucumbered.
Towards the playoffs, encumbered. Look that up in the dictionary. It's not there. Joey Logano has a win, but he's not going to be in the playoffs as of right now. Now, he could win Richmond again. He could win Darlington. He could make it into the playoffs. But Robbie Mays, Joey Logano is not going to make it in on points.
He's not going to make it in on points. He's way too far out. Even if he goes out and he'd obviously have to win, so that would be redundant at this point. But I just don't see this team, and I don't understand why they have not been running up to par with the way they've been running the last couple of years. Joey Logano the last 2-3 years has been a championship team. This year, though, they came out of the box firing, but ever since Richmond, they haven't been there. And it's not like for not trying, and he said that multiple times. It's not like he's not trying to go out there and win races. They just have not been able to put everything together. If they don't make the playoffs, though, I see this team coming out during the final 10 races of the year and just being gangbusters. I see those guys going out there and ruining other people's chances to win races during the chase. I really do. I think if they don't make it in, they're going to be so mad that they didn't get there that they're going to go out and show that they should have been.
Well, and they're also going to be there for Brad Keselowski, who has 2 wins, who's going to be going for a championship, who likely is going to be a championship contender. So going out there winning races, is going to help Brad, point situation if guys are not being locked in by wins. So I think Logano will probably do that. But, I mean, you never know. He won Richmond. And if all the facts are, what that team has said, what Todd Gordon, the crew chief, has said and what that team has said, whatever they did as far as, failing post-race inspection at Richmond, if it wasn't as big a deal as they've been saying it is, even though you can put 2 and 2 together and say they stopped doing it and they haven't been great, but if they say it wasn't that big of an advantage at Richmond, he could go back to Richmond and win.
How ironic would be if he won Richmond?
It would be.
That would be the most ironic thing in the world. But I just don't see him doing it. I don't even see him, even if they use pit strategy at this point. I don't see the 22 car winning these next 2 races.
I want to give a hat tip to Trevor Bayne as well.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to make the playoffs, but he has 2 top 10s in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So they're running well. They, top 10 at Michigan, a top 10 at Bristol, probably, both on a little bit of strategy, but I thought they were pretty solid at Bristol. So those are some of that's what you're looking at for a playoff layout here on the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show as we recap Bristol and we get ready for Darlington. Robbie Mays, who wins Darlington before we go to break here? Can I call you out?
Wow, that's okay. I wasn't expecting this.
Seriously, is it that hard? Just pick one.
I like the 78. I was down there a couple weeks ago.
Surprising.
Martin Truex came down for an event at Darlington a couple weeks ago. I was there. And he seemed really confident at Darlington. That was before he won at Watkins Glen, and that was, 2-3 races ago. So I think the 78 has a good chance to repeat. Obviously, I think Kyle Busch has a good chance to win down there for the second time. I think you got to look at a guy like Kevin Harvick, who gets around that place pretty well, too. If I had to put money on it right now, I'd say the 78.
Kyle Larson.
Okay.
Kyle Larson wins. I mean, he started 16th last year. He finished 3rd. He runs the high line on a racetrack better than anyone I know in a race car right now. So, and you have to get around the top at Darlington to win a race.
Yeah.
So.
I could also see Matt Kenseth going to win in that race, too.
That'd be interesting.
He's won there before.
All right, what are we doing for this emoji thing?
Emojis.
Tommy?
Okay, so we started this last week, and basically we get an emoji back here behind us, and we pick a driver based on what the emoji is.
Okay.
So let's, Jennifer, let's cue up.
What are we picking drivers for right now?
I don't know, just for fun. So, okay.
Emoji game.
The emoji game.
Was that the eclipse?
Yes.
No, that looks like the moon.
I think it's an eclipse. It's an eclipse. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that the Under the Rock this week?
No.
Name the eclipse. All right, what do we got?
For an eclipse, Joey Logano. Because it's there, but it's not there.
What?
It's there. The sun was there, but then it wasn't there. So I'd say Joey Logano.
Well,
he was a bright star, and then he got covered up by something. An encumbered win. So there you go. Joey Logano.
I think a eclipse is very rare. So I think a rarity is Casey Kane making the playoffs. So I think he gets eliminated in round 1.
Okay. All right.
Actually, I'll say Stenhouse, Kane, and Austin Dillon are the 3 that are eliminated in round 1.
Okay.
Because it's a rarity that they made the playoffs. Even though Stenhouse's wins, at Talladega and Daytona are great, but the first round doesn't have a restrictor plate race, right?
No, but if he gets through the first round and he gets to the second round with Talladega, he might be something. Yeah.
All right. Do we have another emoji, or is that the only one? A rocket ship.
A rocket ship. Who's the rocket ship?
Well, don't they call Ryan Newman the Rocket Man because he's from Rushville, Indiana?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, I'm going with Ryan Newman. Who do you got?
Kyle Larson, because he rockets up to the top of the racetrack. And rockets up to first on restarts.
Wow, that was bad. Anyways, final break. We'll come back.
We might not do this again next week.
This is the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires.
When your battery goes dead, everything can come to a stop. Don't take a chance on getting stranded. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts and get your battery tested free of charge. If your battery does need to be replaced, O'Reilly Auto Parts can help you find the exact Superstart battery that fits your car or truck at a guaranteed low price. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better prices every day.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. It's almost Busch o'clock. A time for relaxing and unwinding with a crisp, cold Busch beer. It's the most refreshing time of the day. Wait for it. 3, 2, 1. Busch. Crisp, cold Busch. Enjoy responsibly. Busch Beer. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
On September 8th, when the sun goes down and the stars come out, NASCAR excitement under the Richmond lights will be at its most electrifying. Experience the intense chaos that NASCAR has to offer at Richmond Raceway, Friday night, September 8th at 7:30. It's the Who's Your Driver race weekend, and the action heats up with the Virginia College Savings Plan 250. Buy your tickets at richmondraceway.com. Richmond Raceway, where there's chaos at every corner, and the night action never ends.
Let's talk more fantasy racing on the Inside Line. Here's Robbie and Tyler.
Welcome back to the Inside Line Fantasy Racing Show presented by Hercules Tires. Encumbered is in the dictionary. It means restrict or burden someone or something in such a way that free action or movement is difficult.
Congrats. Go.
Just made everybody smarter. Now we're here to make everybody dumber. It's time to play our favorite game of the week, Under a Rock or Tyler.
Do you live your life up under a rock? Or are you Tyler Burnett?
Okay, so Under a Rock this week, we made this as easy as possible.
Yeah, okay. That's not what you were saying before the show started.
Easy as possible. Of course, all of these have been relatively easy over the last
haven't.
year and a half. This person has been in the news this week.
Oh, no, I'm done.
So this is a photograph of a person in history. You name this person, please. So Jennifer and Daryl, let's cue it up. Let's play Under a Rock or Tyler. Who is that person?
Shoot, I know her name. She sings Total Eclipse of the Heart, right?
I need the name.
What? Man. I just tweeted about her. Hold on.
Nope. That's cheating. You cannot phone a friend. You cannot phone a friend.
I just tweeted about her.
You
though.
cannot phone a friend.
Something Tyler. something Tyler, right? No?
Judges? Does that count?
Mary Tyler? No? Is that it?
Was he thinking Mary Tyler? Are you saying Mary Tyler Moore?
No, is that wrong?
No, it's Bonnie Tyler.
Oh no! Whoa. Bonnie, I tweeted about her the other day.
Of course, that was for.
I said she's meaningful once every century. That's a horrible song. Have you listened to that thing?
Total Eclipse of the Heart?
Oh.
Yeah, I listened to it like 45 times on Monday.
Awful. That's our bump music.
Yeah. Is that our shut up music this week?
I got hit by a rock twice.
Yeah, you did.
All right, we don't have Rango.
We don't have Rango this week.
All right.
No Rango. I'm sad. We'll miss you, Rango. He's doing the Eclipse right now.
Anyways, we're going to end this show because it has been
mercifully.
Yes, a fun week. We're having
obviously there's no
fun.
Cup race this week, but the Xfinity Series is in action on Sunday at Road America, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the Motor Racing Network.
Well, then who's your pick to win Road America?
Wow. That's a good question. You know, Justin Allgaier gets around that place pretty well, and he could use another win.
Okay.
And I don't think there are any Cup drivers in there this weekend, so I like the 7.
All right. Brendan Gaughan has a chance to win this thing.
Sure. It's his only chance to get in the playoffs,
I'm going to take
too.
Blake Cook. I think Blake Cook wins this first race. All right. We'll come back next week for STP Throwback Week at Darlington for the Bojangles Southern 500. We look forward to it then. Until then, have a great week. Enjoy the Cup off week and enjoy the Xfinity race. We'll talk to you next week as we head to Darlington Raceway. For Robbie Mays, I'm Tyler Burnett. We'll see you then as we head to Darlington next week.
You've been listening to the Inside Line presented by Hercules Tires. Stream us every Friday on MRN.com or the MRN app. The Inside Line is also available on demand in the MRN.com Media Center, on our Facebook page, on YouTube, or download it through iTunes or Google Play. The Inside Line is a production of the Motor Racing Network.